For you, what would be your message to youth, whether it's basketball or business wise? What would be your message for an upcoming athlete saying that they want to play in college or in professional sports? What would be a goal or an expectation, I guess you would say, for them to look forward to?
When when you're a kid, you want to play. I think, as I'm listening, everyone wants to play, play, play. As an adult, you have to understand. And understanding is the solution to every problem. And even to this day, at my age, at 53 years of age, I'm still pursuing the idea of how to understand professional sports, because it's continuing to grow and manifest itself in different ways that I never imagined 30 years ago when I first came into this business. It's continuing to evolve, develop, move into different directions. So I'm always pursuing how to understand this business that I'm walking into, because that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You have to understand this business. And when you understand this business on and off the court, you can get a picture of how you could fit into this business, right? The first thing that you see are the superstars.
Mm-hmm.
That's the glitter. That may be the attraction,
Mm-hmm.
that's what everyone sees.
Mm-hmm.
But you could be the commissioner of the NBA a lot longer than you could be a player in the NBA. You could be the president a lot longer than you can play. And there are so many things. You could be sports director, general manager. There are a lot of components to this business that far exceed what the players are doing. And that, to me, will give you an idea of not just seeing a piece of this picture, but to see the entire picture. So myself, I came in as a player, but I quickly understood, just by luck, that, wow, we got a global stage here. I saw a guy that was touching the entire world.
Yeah.
How? What? How is this happening? What are the effects of this? Why is Michael Jordan traveling around the world while the rest of us are just sitting in our cities or our home during the summer? Why is he going to China and Europe, and what's he doing over there
Mm-hmm.
that the rest of us aren't doing? And what does that mean? And all of a sudden, why is the game getting this type of coverage and all of these things? Why is he selling shoes, sneakers? Like who's buying these sneakers? Like, who's marketing these sneakers? So I began to want to see outside of just my immediate participation in sports, which is playing. What's going on? What's happening out here in this world? So my, I guess, appetite to want to understand and continue to understand and continue to see what are the effects of the Luka Doncic and the Jokic's and Rudy Gobert's and the Giannis's. What is the effect that it has on the entire planet? To me, it's just probably one of the most fascinating things ever, because I just started off as a kid, as we started off the conversation, just wanting to bounce the ball in my backyard in Detroit, where suddenly the game has taken me literally all around the world, where it's amazing to me, wherever I'm at, someone will say, hey, I remember when you played in the NBA. And I go, that's unbelievable to me. That's unbelievable to me. And that happens to me all the time. And that is the true miracle of this business. Is like, it literally is a global game. And I'm just a kid from Detroit, literally. And that's, to me, is what keeps me humble, which keeps me on my toes. But more importantly, where is it going next? Because it continues to grow every year. It just continues to get more and more popular. And it's been amazing to be a part of.
Now,
I mentioned that you were part of also an agent right now for current players. Um, right, Sean? So what can you tell us about that in terms of now? I know being an agent, well, I don't know,
Right.
but I imagine uh, part of it is also what you're just sharing with our viewers. A lot of it is mentorship, since you know the trappings and some of the things that, to make it the profession. How do
Yep.
you do that with these athletes that you represent? And
Yeah. Well, I never, again, it's kind of like life. You never know where life is going to take you. But, I always ask these questions, and when I was a 21-year-old kid, I had a terrific agent, and my agent was great, did great business, had a great relationship. But my agent at that particular time, and like most agents, they didn't play. And it's kind of like one of those things that I've always like. If I wanted to learn about golf, I would probably seek out a mentor that played golf. If I wanted to learn about medicine, I probably would seek out someone in that particular field. And it always seemed odd to me that here I was entering into a world and my agent or whomever couldn't help me answer any of those questions. And it's not to say that it's right, wrong, but the one thing that when I came in, I had so many questions when I walked into this business. Like, for instance, um, like, how do you dress for a road trip? How do you pack for a road trip? What's the procedure on getting a place or renting a place or buying a place in the city that you're about to go in? Purchasing a car. Do you lease the car? I just had like questions, right? That no one, oh, you got drafted, you made it, good luck. It was like questions, back then we traveled commercially. So like, do I take a cab? Like, how do I get to the airport? Like there was like questions, right? There were like questions. So as I worked in the front office, I began to see that the players were getting younger and younger and younger. I had these questions as a 4-year player in college. I can't imagine what that would be like or look like if I came to the NBA straight out of high school or just going to high school for 1 year. This has nothing to do with the business or whether you're going to be a good basketball player or not. This has to do with life, right? Before I can even be good on the court, I have to have my life organized off the court. And if that can't happen, that person that we all admire on the court will never come into be if we can't help these young people deal with their life. That's how I really became an agent, because these were life questions. These aren't like if you're representing Michael Jordan, okay, like the guy averages 30 points a night. Okay, well, that's the fun part of the business. But what if this person can't get their life organized enough to get to that 30 points a night? So the thing that we see, the uniform is what we see. Every time I see a player, I see the person that's behind that uniform. Because truthfully, as an agent, my business doesn't start until after that player retires. That's when, because we all have to transition at some point. The air will come out of the ball for all of us at any given moment, right? Due to injury, due to age, or what have you, whatever the case may be. So I had so many questions when I entered into the league that no one was able to answer. I have so many questions as I was playing in the league. And certainly when I got done, I looked around and there was no one there to answer that question. So I just saw an opportunity to say, if you can help these young people transition, because that's life transitions, you go from one point to another. Maybe you can help answer a question that you had. I mean, I wanted to ask people. So when I would see older players, I would ask them a question or two because they had experienced the same thing I experienced. It just seemed natural for me to be available to answer a question if asked. You know, I don't look at myself as a agent. I always look at myself as, look, I'm just sharing my life story because you're about to do the same thing. They say the game has changed. Well, certain things never change, right? The game may look different because the rules are different,
Right.
but the experience of this business is the exact same. It's a business. We're professionals. And there are things that you're going to go through in this that we're all going to share. And if you can help and be there for another person to share your experience, maybe it will take that learning curve from a 10-year to maybe a 2-year learning curve. Or better yet, they can avoid the same mistakes that we made
Right.
because we're all going through the same experience. So that's how I got into the business of just, I had questions that no one was the answer. And like I said, I enjoyed my time, but there were a lot of unanswered questions for me that, I made some mistakes along the way. But at the same time, when you look around, it was like one of those things that you just didn't talk about, but everyone acted like they knew what was going on, but no one really knew because there was no one, or at least in my case, I didn't know who to ask. So that's how I became an agent.